Hello everyone, thank you for joining me in another video. Today I'm going to do Hydrangea flower, but this time I don't want to draw with pencil first. Have a sketch of them. I just make my composition with putting few dots around my focal point, which is the big flower, uh, Hydrangea flower. So I just wet the paper partially and then add color, like for in this case mine is rose. You can just use phthalo crimson or any kind of pinkish color in your palette. So I pick my focal point as the big flower, not in the center, but almost, closer to the left side of the paper. And the rest are just for defining my focal point. The same color I'm adding negatively around the main flower, and also I try to keep them smaller in shapes. And then with negative painting, I just develop few different shapes of strokes to indicate the petals inside each flowers. But I don't do them in details. And actually I add lavender and olive green or different kind of colors. In this case, I just decided to add lavender and olive green. Of course, later I'm gonna make them darker with adding more colors to them. But for now, I try to keep my palette very simple and limited. Whenever you feel that you are getting hard line shapes, just spray clean water to them to spread them out, because again, my focal point is just the main center flower, so I don't care about the details in the rest of the painting. You need to add the same colors that you use for everything: background, leaves, flowers, everything. You need to repeatedly add them to different part of your painting, because at the end we need to have coherent painting, like in shapes, especially in colors. That's why I'm adding the same color in different places to make a counterbalance, all over my painting. The brush that I'm using here is number 7 round brush, and as you see, I just try use different angles of the same brush, like the body of it and then the tip of it. And sometimes I just push the brush to get the bigger strokes, and sometimes I use the tip of it to create little dots or very thin lines, but try to keep the variety in them, so different shapes would make your painting better. Okay, I want to have the darker value for my green, so I'm gonna add burnt umber or sometimes burnt sienna to my green. which is olive green in this one. And I'm sure you know that we have at least 3 shades of color, it's better to say shades of value to each part of our painting. So it's going to be more 3D in this case. I'm trying to draw the mouth of the vase and the neck, which just adding a broken line. And also the shapes are not very important in this one because I don't want to have the shape of the vase. I want to have the vase like partially. It's just a suggestion of a vase. Cerulean blue is a good color for showing water inside the vase. Of course, you need the other colors like rose or crimson that I used before, or lavender, even lavender, or that olive green in the vase as well. Because as I told you, we need to have counterbalance in the painting. But remember, just keep some part of the vase untouched because we need to have the light shapes in the vase. It makes it more glassy. And the stems are the same color that I used, but this time I'm gonna add more the same color but with more consistency. And because the paper is wet, it's going to kind of blend to each other, which is very good. And then again, use the body of the brush, the tip of the brush, different directions would be very helpful showing the bunch of stems in the water. And then the same thing for the water level in the vase. You shouldn't draw an oval all around, just showing the shape of it, it's enough. And as you see, I'm using the colors that I used before. For the side of the vase, it's just enough to add color inside the vase, and also for defining the shape of it, it's good to just add a little dark value all around. Like I'm exaggerating the mouth of the vase, and with indigo, which is a very dark color, I just negatively try to make the exaggerate those lines in places that I want to have more dimensional effects. As I told you, you can define your the shape of the vase by adding a color around the vase. So it's called negative painting. So you will have the shape of the vase, and also it exaggerates the light that comes from right side in the vase. The same thing you need to do for the left side, but you know, it's not necessarily like what you did in right side, because in right side we had light spot, but in left side we don't have that much light. So it's kind of darker comparing to the right side. It's kind of darker. Yeah, you have to add darker value gradually. So you have to feel comfortable with adding darker value. You know, if you just add darker value from the beginning, it means later you cannot have that dark value that you want or you need to add. So be careful to add the dark values gradually. Having darker value for green parts, I just mix the green, like olive green, with or in this case I just use emerald green, mix it with sepia, and then you will get the darker value. Sometimes it's good to put your painting upside down. Actually, it works for me because I have better access to negatively draw the shape of the petals inside the flower. So again, the same color, I'm using the same color, and I apply more water into my brush. And then if I don't have that soft and smooth lines around my petals here, I just add more water to it and then wash them out. So because I don't want to have very hard line around things. And then it's up to you. I mean, you can add more layers, negatively more petals to your flower. And also in dark part of your flower, the lavender that we used for background, it could be a good one to add here for indicating shadow. But again, it should be applied negatively. And also darker value for the bottom side of the flower, could be the same color with more consistency, or you can add alizarin. Actually, you have to add alizarin to the mixture because it makes it more, darker, and then we need it to make the flower three-dimensional. By adding dark value negatively to it, it pops out. Always wash the hard edges with clean water. Sometimes we do have hard line around something, but not in this one. And actually we need to be careful not to have them like um, in perfect shapes. I mean, we need to have them in broken shapes like we did in eye level in ways. You can keep them sometimes. More details on the focal point, which is the big flower. I don't overdo it. Just few suggestion in this part would be enough. I'm not going to do the same thing all around the flower. Some part of it should be blend to the background. And always you can add more color to background. Um, so, but you know, background is background. You are not supposed to uh, do them in details. But it's okay to have few brush strokes to show the shapes of the things behind the focal point. And soften some hard edges. Okay, I think it's done. I really enjoyed the process. Let's finish it with a signature. I hope you enjoyed as I did. Thank you and see you soon.